A quick note before starting row 4, I wanted to point out to you that every right side row will end as follows. I just finished up the repeat with a yarn over knit. So the next stitch is SSK over knit, knit, and I have 2 extra stitches for my edge. So that was row 3. Now we're on row 4, a wrong side row. On this row, we're still not introducing the purl 2 together through the back loop. That is not until row 6. So I start every wrong side row out with my edge stitch, purl 2 together, yarn over, purl 1. The repeat for row 4 is as follows. I need to get my chart a little closer. And actually, I'm going to show this to you. Hopefully you can see that whole chart. On a lace chart, the right side rows, unless you're told otherwise in the pattern, are read from right to left. And all of my right side rows are odd numbers in the pattern. Then the wrong side rows are even numbers and are read from left to right. The way that this key works is all of my stitches are as knit and not as viewed from the front. That's another way that you can chart when stitches get a little bit funky on the wrong side. You don't want to be doing that in your chart because it's hard to read. So here we are on row 4. I have done the first part, which is the edge stitch, purl 2 together, yarn over, purl 1. This red line denotes the beginning of the repeat. Purl 1, yarn over, purl 3. Purl 2 together, purl 1, purl 2 together, yarn over, purl 1. When I'm doing my little chant, you'll notice this ends on a purl 1, but it also begins on a purl 1. So as I get going, I will frequently say purl 2 to myself, yarn over, purl 3, and so on. And then we're going to end up this wrong side row, as always, with a purl 2 together, yarn over, purl 2. One more thing to show you as I finish up row 4. I'm on my last repeat. So I have purl 1 over purl 3, and I want you to notice how the first stitch in that group of 3 purls is the yarn over from the previous row. I just keep reminding myself this over and over again. It helps you keep your place and also to know when you're about to make a mistake. Always better to catch first. So for example, let's say I put my knitting down or something and I thought I was to the point where I was going to do yarn over, purl 3. If I started to do that, I would notice, okay, this is not a yarn over. Either I have dropped the yarn over, in which case I could pick it up, or I'm in the wrong place. Then you go back, look at the previous repeats right here. If you need to, go back over to the previous row and read that row. Hope that helped and wasn't too confusing. This is all a little bit easier in person, but I hope I'm giving you some good stuff to go on. Let me finish this up. All right, ready to start row 5. Begin with the edge. Oh, almost dropped a stitch. My edge stitches. Again, always start, oh, okay, dropped a yarn over. This is something good to show you. Not a big deal. You know that there was a yarn over there. Pick it up with your right needle tip and simply place it back on your left needle. All right, so now I'm still trying to do this SSK here. So SSK over in this row 1, 2. Notice those are both solid stitches underneath. Then I'm doing an SSK, 1, 2, 3. The third stitch in the 3-stitch group, it was the yarn over from the wrong side row over 1. I'm back at in this rib, in the middle of the rib for the beginning of the repeat, so I know I'm good. SSK always has a yarn over as the second stitch, so I'm good there. Yarn over, knit 2, SSK, 1, 2, 3, third stitch is the yarn over, I'm good, over 1. So that does it for row 5. Back for row 6. Sorry, I always find more things I want to tell you, so sorry for the choppiness here. If you'll notice, when you get ready to do the second SSK in this repeat and I am on row 5 still, you'll notice, so I've done, here I'll show you, I've done SSK over knit 2. I'm ready to do the next SSK. If you notice, this is making this line of knit stitches bend back towards the left, creating this zigzag wavy effect. If you look on your chart, you can see on row 5, we are making a bend to the left. It's very visual. So that's another way to check that you're in the right spot. Purl over purl 3. Again, the first one of that group of 3 was a yarn over, so keep that in mind. The next stitch is purl 2 together through the back loop. I hope you can see this well enough with this dark yarn, but it's not too hard to do. It's hard to figure out if you don't know how to do it. All right, a purl 2 together would be right here. Purl 2 together through the back loop. You cannot simply go in the same direction like you do when you knit 2 together through the back loop. You need to wrap the needle around and go into the second stitch first and then the first stitch. I hope you can see that. Wrap your yarn and pull it through. That was purl 2 together through the back loop. Then you purl 1 and then you purl 2 together. Notice how the second stitch of the 2 stitches that you're going to be doing the purl 2 together on was the yarn over. Something that will help you to remember when you do through the back loop and when you don't is the regular purl 2 together has this yarn over. You cannot, it is really more difficult to do a purl 2 together through the back loop when the second stitch is a yarn over. That's what's helping me remember. Purl 2 together, yarn over, purl, beginning the next repeat, purl again, over, purl, 2, 3, purl 2 together through the back loop. Both of these stitches are solid stitches, no yarn overs, to help me remember. Purl 2 together through the back loop, purl 1, purl 2 together. It's got a yarn over as the second stitch. Yarn over, purl 1. I'm going to show this to you one more time as this row is a little trickier. Purl 1, yarn over, purl 3. Purl 2 together through the back loop, coming in second stitch first, then the first stitch. Pull the loop through towards the back. Purl 1, purl 2 together, yarn over, purl 1. That's it for row 6. Back for row 7. Starting on row 7 of the pattern, we're officially into the second half of the number of rows. Start out with the edge, SSK, yarn over as always, and on row 7 we're going to knit 2. Then this is a little bit different from the previous rows. Our yarn overs are going to be towards the beginning of the repeat now instead of split at the beginning and then at the end. So next we yarn over, SSK, 1, 2, 3, 4. I love that when you get a big group of plain knit stitches in the middle. It kind of gives you a little break. SSK, over, 1, 2, over, SSK, 1, 2, 3, 4, SSK, over, 1, 2, over, SSK. So notice that we're still bending this row towards the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we are omitting a yarn over right here, where previously we were doing our yarn overs right before the last stitch. So that's it for row 7. I'll be back for row 8.